Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer and Timespinner fans, and welcome to round 2 of the Archipelago Final Fantasy Randomizer Timespinner Challenge. I am joined tonight by that llama girl. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. I got a little kitty next to me who's fallen asleep finally, and so hopefully I'll be able to commentate here without him walking all over my keyboard.
That sounds good. We were talking kitty comms earlier, going to be fun, so it's going to be a good time tonight. We got a great matchup. We have Team Shiny Rocks versus Team Duck Soup. Gregley Puff and Wef are Team Shiny Rocks, and Papa Ducks and Waffle Soup are Team Duck Soup. We got two pretty experienced Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, or Final Fantasy Randomizer runners, and two, I would say, a little bit of Timespinner royalty here with Wef and Waffle Soup. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, Waffle Soup and Wef are top tier. It's going to be a great matchup. It's always been close in basically all of our matches. We had a tournament a little while ago, and it was just fun to watch all of those matches. And yeah, I'm looking forward to providing the Timespinner part of our commentary. I know basically nothing about the Final Fantasy Randomizer, but that's why you're here to help me.
Exactly. So we're going to play off each other pretty well tonight. I know quite a bit about FFR, and I am learning Timespinner, and you know Timespinner, and I'll teach you some FFR, and we're going to have some fun tonight. We got the runners about 9 minutes or so have dropped the gate on them, so we are on a 10-minute delay. So they'll be going live on stream probably in about a minute or so right here. And it's going to be pretty fun. We got, for people that are joining us and haven't seen this yet, we have Final Fantasy players doing a shard hunt, and Timespinner players doing just basic randomizer stuff here. So this is going to be pretty good tonight. We need 32 shards from Final Fantasy to be able to access the Temple of Fiends you visited to kill Chaos. So we're going to be opening quite a few boxes, and Archipelago means we're sharing items between both games, which is going to be pretty cool to see.
Mm-hmm. The Timespinner flag set has specific key cards, so that means that each key card only opens the door that it describes. And it's also inverted, which means they start in the past. So that means that when they get out of the tutorial area, the stuff there is going to hit a little hard, but I'm not too worried about these two.
Mm-hmm.
We start out, though, in the tutorial area, and Mom gives us Fire Orb, which unlocks some things. That's a good start. And she'll give us a spell as well. Corruption. The best, but it could be worse.
Final Fantasy, we got Fade level 1 here in slot 3. Red Mage learnable with a Force Red Mage, that's pretty good. And looks like we had Lightning 3 and Temper as well, level 1 black. So those are 3 pretty good spells to see. Lightning 3, decent sweeper. Fade, real good sweeper. And Temper is something we definitely like to see early to be able to buff our melee dealers.
Mm-hmm. So we got... Oh, well, okay, Nell just gave us Twin Pyramid Keys. That is a really good early pickup because that's your fast travel. And also, it's required to get to the end of the game because we're in the past and we need to get back to the present. And we got Jin Inferno, which is the most broken spell in the game. And I mean literally broken in that there is a glitch that only works with Jin Inferno, also known as the Infinite Meatball glitch, where if you cast it with a specific rhythm, you can have infinite casts of the most powerful spell in the game.
I hear Timespinner players call affectionately that the meatball when I'm playing AP with them at night. So it looks like a giant meatball. And,
I missed where their warp was, but Wef went to check the warp while Waffle is going up to get some chests in the forest. Got another fire source. Not necessarily helpful, because they already started with a fire source. I wonder if we'll have a route divergence here. I think it's mainly just they're going to go get that one chest over to the left outside of this starting area and then probably head to the right into the castle. Yep, and there's Plasma Orb. That unlocks a check we're probably not going to go to because it's only one check and it's way out of the way. And unless you're playing on some extra flag sets where it adds a few things in there, it's really not worth it.
So we got a gas mask there too. That looks like it's pretty good.
Yeah, gas mask is technically optional. I didn't see where their warp was, but after you do some things in the past, stuff in the present kind of messes up. And so there's a boss called the Maw, and if you defeat the Maw, it kind of fucks with the timeline and makes it so that there is no breathable atmosphere in the present. And so you need the gas mask if you want to do some checks in that area that has stuff that gets poisoned. And you could check that area before killing the Maw, but there's some chests that only appear after killing the Maw. We got Celestial Sash with Waffle. And that is really good. That is infinite upward dash. They absolutely need something like that to get to the end, and it's either that or Light Wall, and you sure hope that you get Sash instead.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how you said they need that infinite movement, and Light Wall or Sash would be what they're looking for. So seeing that Sash definitely is going to be helpful, I think.
Mm-hmm. And now both runners have it, thankfully traded over from their Final Fantasy partners. Got keycard C. Could be useful, could not be. We got specific keycards, so that opens a very specific area. And I didn't see where the warp is. I keep saying that. The lore drops you see around in the past, there's some letters and such, and they don't have a flag on that makes it so that there's drops there. But you do get money for picking it up in Timespinner. So it's a quick, easy cash without having to kill anything or grind for anything. You get some money for it just by tapping that item.
Gold bracelets for sale here at Provoca. 54,000, very expensive. Gold bracelets, the best armor that your mages can get, and pretty good for those thieves as well. Iron armor +3, decent for the fighters, so we like that.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Harm 3 and Fast, the two best spells I see there. I think that we don't have any white mages taken tonight, so that Harm 3 going to be pretty useless. But that Fast, Zap, and Lock, pretty good level 3 black magic there. Some good utility.
Got both Weth and Waffle heading through the castle ramparts. There are some things here that hit pretty hard. This is after a couple bosses. This is the direction you would be going. And so stuff hitting here is pretty rough. You're supposed to be a few levels up from here, but like I said, I'm not worried about these two runners. They will not let me down by dying here.
So we got a power bonk there delivered to our Final Fantasy runners. That'll give us infinite cast of Saber, which will buff our melee dealer just as well. It's pretty good to see. We like that.
We saw Waffle, and Wef is going to the spot with it, the water mask. This is absolutely necessary because the Maw is underwater. And you absolutely need to defeat 3 bosses in the past in order to unlock the final area of the game. So there's the Maw, which I mentioned. There is the Twins, which is the next boss in the Castle Keep, which they can get to because they have the Sash. And then Ilana at the top of the tower.
Ah, that was the one. I was trying to impress you by thinking of which one it was. I couldn't remember Ilana's name.
There will be a quiz later.
I'm taking notes.
Looks like they're both doing the basement loop. It's a good loop to do. There is no, like, objective that you absolutely have to do, but it is a loop, so it brings you back to where you started with no backtracking, so it's a good way to go to get some levels and some pickups.
That Jin Inferno looks like it's just doing work for our 2 times right now. That's good.
Yeah. It is the strongest spell in the game. And also, your spells will level up as you use them, so of course they're going to try and use it as often as possible. Oof! Wef is making me sweat a little here. He has no healing items. Oh god. Wef, don't do this to my heart. Oh, we got gear number 3 on Waffle, and I'm pretty sure Wef will get there too if he doesn't die. And Soul Scanner, which does absolutely nothing.
Our two Final Fantasy runners here doing basically the typical checks you see here in any kind of a seed. You got both of our runners in Marsh Cave, clearing that out. 5 boxes on the top, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 boxes here on the bottom. So 11 total. And if we happen to come across a key that's transferred to them, they can check 3 more.
For those of you not in the know, the gear is one of the end game unlockers. We need 3 of those. We need the spindle and the wheel. Softnum made a comment. Yes, the Wef and Waffle are basically in lockstep here, going the same path. Shows you they got good instincts here. It looks like they're going to go to the twins. You could go to either at this point, especially since they have the fast travel. But because they have Jin Inferno, while the twins may not be strictly weak to it, everything is weak to Meatball.
Oh, that's the Go Fast, right? Teleria attachment.
Oh, yeah. Look at him zoom.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those game changers where if one runner gets it and the other doesn't, it's minutes in difference. Mm-hmm. Basically, if someone is forced to do a leg day seed versus just zooming on by.
Yeah, I think that looks a lot like if you get boots in Link to the Past versus non-boots, so it's going to definitely add some time.
Mm-hmm. So Waffle went to do a safety save while Wef is living on the edge. The twins have this 2-part system where you fight the twins here, who laugh at you, and then it shows their true form, the Golden Idol. This is one of my favorite fight reveals in the game. It's really fun if you're not expecting it.
Mm-hmm. And when I was doing my vanilla playthrough and I came across this, I was like, oh, and then you got a little fun thing coming up here once you get to phase 3 of this boss that I was not expecting.
Yes. As I was talking with Bodhi about this when he was developing it, he talked about saying, like, the hot foot moment when the buzzsaw comes out from underneath. And I like that it has that stage-like noise when the spotlight comes on. Mm-hmm. It's got that theatrical feel. That the whole stage kind of has that. You know, you got the puppets of the human forms and curtains in the background, and it's all just a game to this guy. There's a fun fact that we won't be able to see in this fight, but if you time stop during this fight and move around, eyes actually follow you. While most things are completely stopped. We got Waffle finishing up, and Wef right behind him. Luckily, they do have that sash, which helps with the hot foot moment. Oh, and we have Waffle checking the Yas Queen room. And looks like it wasn't too important.
Ooh, river system not safe for our runners. We have Karib's casting Lightning 3. That is a sweeper that'll mow your party down in the early levels here. That's not fun. So
I don't know much about it, but that sounds bad.
Yeah, it's a tier 3 lightning spell, so it's going to do quite a bit of damage to your low level party right here.
Yeah, I don't like that number 3 on the end there.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Wef finishing up Golden Idol and following in Waffle's footsteps. And Crimdall mentioned that this is why sometimes randomizer players may skip this boss and go up to a Lana instead, even though she is technically a later boss. The Golden Idol is one of those rough bosses that you really need to get a bunch of damage in right away. And if you don't have something that it's weak to, then it can take quite a while. Enemies in this game do have weaknesses and strengths. and you need, I think, either Radiant or Bashing for the Golden Idol.
Maybe you can explain a little bit here. When I was watching the Speed Gaming Live Finals, I was hearing talk of blunt damage versus sharp damage. Is that what you were describing?
Mm-hmm. So each orb that Illuminaeus equips, you can see them orbiting around her, has a type. And so there are orbs that have sharp damage, blunt damage, fire, ice, aura, plasma, and chaos and radiant. And some things are strong to it, oh, got a def on Waffle Soup's side. This is that, not saving can really set you back, because he didn't save after that idol fight.
Ooh, I was wondering where you had to get taken back to. Okay.
Yeah, that was not good. We did see Shadow Seal picked up for Weft, and I'm not sure if Waffle got it too, but Shadow Seal is also one of the best rings in the game. You get rings for passive effects that you can equip, and the Shadow Seal will increase your damage output depending on how much of your health is missing. And it scales way more than it should by the end.
So the lower the health you have, the more damage you're going to do. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, and it's over 200% increase, I'm pretty sure.
That sounds pretty broken.
Yeah. The closest example would be the Bleak Ring, which will double your attack in exchange for taking twice as much damage. Oh, here we have Weft going to the present.
We had a bit of divergence here on the Final Fantasy side. Gregglypuff in the volcano, clearing out the level 2 armory here, coming across the eye tile, which is going to be some real juicy XP, should he choose to come back to that later. And there's quite a few boxes here on this floor as well.
So Weft right there used the warp and then came back, and that's because you can't use the fast travel until you've warped at least once. There have been many a run that have died because they get all the way up to the top of Lana's tower, try to use a warp shard, which takes you back to the last warp you've used, only to realize they haven't used any warps. Those hammer giantists will really hit you hard. And Leth is making me scared for him as well. The way you can tell if something is strong or weak to a particular element is whether the numbers that pop up when you hit them are red, which means they are weak to whatever you're hitting them with, or white, which means normal, or gray, which means they are... God damn it, Wef! Gray means that they are strong to that value.
Where did he
Oh, no!
Is he back before the idol as well?
Way before!
Oh, he doesn't even have his zoomies.
Oh, no!
Okay.
Those nerves are just hitting hard.
Okay.
I told you, Wef was scaring me, and I had reason to be scared.
So Papa Duck's here, joining Gregglypuff in the volcano, clearing out his armory floor. Gregglypuff down on what we call the Agama floor. We call it this because in the vanilla game we have the Agamas, which is a lizard boss, or lizard enemy, on the trap tiles here that typically give a lot of experience. There they are right there. You see them as a random encounter. They typically give a pretty good amount of experience and don't do much besides punch or cast a spell called Heat, which doesn't do much damage. So that's an enemy that we'd like to see to take some good levels off of, but right now we're just going to keep going and keep opening boxes.
Yeah, I was wondering how the leveling worked with the Final Fantasy Randomizer, because I remember my vague childhood memories of this game that, you know, you walk your way through the game pretty slowly, fighting basically everything in the way, and Randomizer to know you're very underleveled by the end. And from the few I've seen, it was pretty close with, you know, the Chaos fights. But that makes sense that they look for fights that give you good XP without much danger.
Yep, the eye that they found on the trap tiles here on the armory floor where Papa Ducks is, he's about to walk on this tile right here. This will give you probably about 4,000 XP a fight. The XP is scaling for these flags for Final Fantasy, so every 8 shards they get will increase their experience gain by 25%.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, this will also scale with each shard you get, so each one, will give you a little bit more XP, but the break point is 25% per 8. So the more shards they get, the more experience they're going to get, which is going to be nice.
Lily points out Waffle got the best orb for the Golden Idol fight right after the Golden Idol fight. And it looks like Waffle is not going further into the castle, instead going to Lake Serene because they have that water mask. And it paid off because we got keycard B, which is required.
Looks like Wef took another death there on the idol.
Oof, Weffy. Aw, man. Those nerves are getting to him. Save, Wef. Please save. It's nerves. They usually don't die ever. I swear.
This makes me feel better about my Timespinner playthrough, though.
Oh, it happens. Oh, there's another gear. Just need one more, and that is in Upper Lake Serene. This area they want to go through when they have a fire source because there are vines here, and if you burn the vines in the past, then in the present it will have destroyed the things that grew and fossilized and block you off from that area. So you only want to go along the top if you have a fire source, so you can clear out those vines without having to double back for them.
Brickley Puff here, taking on Carrie. He'll get 2 shards from Carrie should he be able to take her down. Throwing out some fades and nukes. He's out of nuke charges. The Black Mage is down. Still got some fade. Okay, Red Mage down. And, ooh, we got Fighter Punch action here. We're going to throw out Zeus Bonk for chip damage. Going to maybe get one more Zeus Bonk out.
Oh, nope.
30 damage. Damage poison. Okay, down goes Greg. So we're gonna bypass those 2 shards that Carrie would have dropped off for us, and we're gonna move on.
Oh, it looks like the 3rd gear was found on Waffle Soup's side, so we just need 2 more.
Bombardment.
And Bombardment is a good spell, but they have Jin Inferno. Bombardment's a real good spell, though, and if you ask certain people, then Bombardment in certain situations is actually better than Jin Inferno. It hits a lot of times if you can get up close to the enemy, and if it's a big old fat enemy that's got a big old fat hitbox, you're good to go.
Brickley Puff got his floater, so he is now in the air with the airship. So that's the Final Fantasy version of Zoomies, because now we can go fast and we don't got to take random fights. Looks like we have 8 shards for Greg, and I'm sure Papa's right around the same number too. Papa going to give his shot at Carrie as well, so we'll see if he gets better luck.
Internet died out there a little bit. I'm good.
No problem. And right here we have we have the confused old men there. The sages in Crescent Lake typically give the canoe in the vanilla game after you kill Lich. Right, one of our fun percent flags is confused old men, where they, instead of standing in their normal circle there, will just kind of wander aimlessly around their area, and you got to find the one sage who will give you an item, which can be maybe useful, maybe not.
Alright, Wef has killed the idol again. Save, Wef. Save. Okay. We got Waffle heading over to kill the Azure Queen. Technically, she could be optional, but she does block a couple checks and a warp point.
Greg here doing some floater lock checks here at the Cardia Islands. We've got about 13 free boxes here, so we're going to check all these and see what we get.
quite a bit of a divergence here with Timespinner. Looks like Wef is continuing to try and head up to Elana. And we got Waffle heading into the Caves of Banishment to go and take on the Maw. Oh no! Wef just went in there to get some warp shards. From everyone's favorite capitalist, the Merchant Crow. Got a question in chat about which item allows time stop. That is the wheel. So far we have not seen the quintessential mechanic for this game yet in the randomizer.
Gregory Puff going over to the Onrak continent. We had our Oxiel, so we can get inside of the Sea Shrine here. Plenty of checks we have in this dungeon, and then we also have Kraken should we decide to make a stab at him, who can give us 4 shards.
There's the fabled light wall, but they have upward dash, so it's not necessarily a bad thing to find. It is what the final boss is weak to, so it's good to have, and you can just stack up the spell on top of the boss to do a whole bunch of damage to it. Really funny story in that our last tournament, Bodhi just dropped the fact that technically you could have up to 9 light walls on the screen at the same time, when we previously thought there could only be 3. So, changing the game mid-tournament.
Question in chat from Firebird Lover. Can you tell me what's happening between these 2 games? Lily kind of mentioned it. We're doing what's called Archipelago here. So we're sharing items and information between the 2 games. We have Final Fantasy 1 and Timespinner. So our 2 runners, on the left side, Team Shiny Rocks. On the right side, Team Duck Soup. Each of our runners are in a voice chat together, and they are sharing information and items throughout the game. When you see AP item pop up there on the screen, that is an item that is shared between the game. It might be for Timespinner, it might be for Final Fantasy.
Ooh, so Waffle just got a couple of good items. Got the elevator key card and the wheel, just in time to do the Maw cheese, where the Maw is a very tough boss, hardest boss in the game. As we will see here, that if you time stop and walk up to his face and bully him, he can't do anything about it.
I thought you were playing a little cheeky fun right there. I was like, he doesn't seem so hard.
He's hard if you don't know about getting up in his face. Elana, on the other hand, if you don't have double jump, is real rough to fight. He likes flying around the screen, and the game is designed around the idea that you actually have double jump at this point. So why can't you just jump up there? Luckily, Wef has the poor man's double jump, or Celestial Sash.
Some pretty good items here in Papa Duck's inventory. We have a Dragon Armor +3, best item in the game armor-wise for a fighter, if we can promote here and find the tail for a knight. Ice Sword +1, decent item to swing there. We also have Defense Sword +5. That's an endgame weapon, should we be able to promote, but we do not have the tail yet that I've seen.
Waffle got a little too cheeky with the Maw and is out of healing items, and so actually has to be careful about his desperation attack, that thing, which will hit you. He can't take another hit. There we go.
Oof.
Got Elana done. All bosses in Timespinner have a desperation attack that triggers when they are at half health. It changes a little bit depending on the boss. Some of them, their other attacks become increased. For example, Boots, the very first boss, will swipe twice instead of just once if he corners you against the wall.
Silver Bracelets Plus there for our Final Fantasy runners here in Gaia. That's a great piece of endgame armor for our mages. Pretty cheap too, at about 1,700.
Waffle going to the present. Did he miss that chest in the hallway? It looked like he didn't open that chest in that spider hallway. It's hard to tell. Oh, there's that spindle, because he had probably got a hint about it. And now he just needs to defeat a Lana. And he's good to go.
So you mentioned hints right there, Llama. Hints for anybody that doesn't know, when the runners here are typing in their text client that tells them the item they're sharing, if they open a certain amount of boxes that share AP items, they're allowed to hint for something that they're looking for in the game. Typically, you're going to want to hint for, an end game item. In Final Fantasy, it would be usually the loot, because we need that to access the final dungeon, or perhaps, floater if we're looking for some kind of movement. So when you say wheel or gear there that Waffle picked up, he probably hinted for that to tell him where that was.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like Waffle is, despite being in go mode, going and buying some warp shards, realized he has the gilded egg, which he can sell for a whole bunch of money. Because technically you're supposed to buy it for a whole bunch of money. To buy some healing items, and probably gonna gun for a Lana at this point. Yep. And gun for the end game.
Empire Crown, that's the best armor for your helmet, yes?
Mm-hmm. Depending on if you like damage over defense, which these runners like damage. Mm-hmm. The best defense is kill it before it can hit you.
Yeah, the best defense is a good offense sometimes. So shard count on the Final Fantasy, I think I saw Greg with 11 shards, I think, for Greg, and Papa probably around the same number here. Once these Timespinner runners finish, they should get a significant amount of shards shot their way, and you should see the Final Fantasy runners finish up not too long after that.
Waffle Soup eating meatballs at a Lana. You can see the glitch in action on Waffle Soup's side, where you'll see the charge part of the aura bar, which is your magic, highlight, but then when he releases the spell, it actually snaps back to the full amount. And that's just what the glitch is doing. Basically, if you cast the spell once, and then cast it again while the meatball is still on the screen, you can cast it for free.
Question in chat from Shoon Bobby. What were the Final Fantasy forces? They were Force Red Mage and Fighter today.
With a Lana done, Waffle is heading into the military hangar. This is one of the scarier parts of the game because everything here hits like a truck, and that's if you're at the appropriate level.
Lily with some information there in the chat. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. There are some hidden behaviors of equipment that you get from the flavor text. Like the Eternal Crown mentions it increases your dominion over time, which means that it enhances your time stop ability. And the Volition Crown says it helps you cast spells or something. I forget the flavor text off the top of my head. With Time Stop, however, you'll see that Waffle is pretty much dodging everything. And that's one of the great movement techs of the game and the randomizer, is that you got this really nice fluid movement, and you have a lot of options for dodging things as you get towards the end of the randomizer.
So both of our Final Fantasy runners into lucrative dungeons here. Greg still clearing out Sea Shrine on his way down to Kraken. He's on what we call the Sharknado floor here. Papa Duck's in Sky Tower on his way up to go say hi to Tiamat and also open all the boxes here.
have Waffle fighting Genza, who is just a jerk, and we're just going to use meatballs at him, and he is weak to meatballs, so this will not take long. And once we defeat Genza here, this is the room that you use to trigger the true ending. There are several endings to this game, and the randomizer considers true ending to be the goal, mainly because it requires a few more things to get, which make the randomizer a little more interesting.
I like that he saved right there, too. He learned his lesson.
Yeah. You have the option of fighting these two bosses here. The one on the left technically has less hit points, so you're usually going to go for him, but if you have a particular weapon, that is the Punch Orb, or Emperor Orb, the other boss is weak to it, so you may want to pick the one on the right. Even though he has more hit points, he is super weak to the strongest orb in the game. Wep going in to fight the Maw. Dunking on with the cheese. You can see some light wall strats on Wef's side, where he stacks up multiple copies of the spell, and using the Ice Orb for that good Maw damage. The joke is that a lot of people don't like the Ice Orb, but it's really good for the Maw, and it's actually the developer's favorite orb.
Wrigglypuff here taking on Kraken, throwing out a Bane Sword, tempering up that fighter, swinging what looked like a Coral Sword there. Kraken throwing out some Fire 2, chip damage doing Fire 2 things. Tempering, and we'll get a swing here. 6 hits, 1400 damage, Kraken by...
Waffle Soup has broken time and space, and now the only thing left to do is go punch God in the face. Looks like Wef is getting a hint.
It's like Underwater Secret for his gear too.
Unfortunately, they did not pick up double jump, so we are not going to see the light wall dunking from Waffle Soup. There is a light wall skip that you can do that is really important skill to learn if you don't have the upward mobility, but you need light wall and double jump to hit. Well, even Celestial Sash will still do it, just to show off, because he's like that. He's just so good. But unfortunately, we will not see it today.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, the swag that we might see with the light wall skip. I was kind of hoping to see it, but it's okay.
Yep. I saw Waffle switch to light wall for a second, and I got excited, but then I saw that there is no double jump.
Question in chat from Firebird Lover. How did Final Fantasy 1 and Timespinner get combined of all games? Well, we got some really good people in each community that just decided this was going to be a thing. And when Archipelago was kind of done up, we had Final Fantasy join, and then some of us also played Timespinner, and Timespinner is a great game, so why not? Makes sense.
Here we have Waffle fighting the first form of the final boss, who is weak to Meatball. So, Meatball time. 203 is actually a really low amount for Meatball at this stage. They are a low level right now. 36 minutes into this final stage is actually pretty fast.
Yeah, question in chat from D Jones. What does Archipelago mean with Rando? So, yep, Shun Bobby did a pretty good job explaining that. So, progression and items are shared between both games. So, you're going to have our runners in a co-op voice chat together, communicating strategy, communicating routing, and just kind of generally talking about where they're going and what they need to do.
And here we can see Waffle Soup using Bombardment instead of Meatball, because you can see all of that damage up on that huge hitbox of Nightmare here. It's really good. Nightmare here is the final boss. He was designed after a horse skeleton because he's actually originally from a game that I made where Maef was the protagonist, and horse skeletons scared me. I read a horror story about a horse skeleton and it just stuck with me as a kid. The runners like to call this beating a dead horse, though.
There's that light wall strats right there.
Mm-hmm. That's that desperation attack. And there we go. Exclamation point in chat for Waffle Soup, because the first thing that Linnea says after she becomes a god is exclamation point. There it is. 37-37. Officially 37-36 over in the race time room. Pretty fast seed, not his fastest though. Probably all those deaths. If you can imagine how fast they would have gone if neither of them had died.
That's what I'm thinking about. I'm just in awe of like watching them both take deaths and still finishing at 37-36. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's fast. And if you saw on Papa Duck's side right there, with that completion of the game by Waffle Soup, he got a whole mass of shards sent to him. So he only needs another 11 here to finish the game. So he's going to be doing some checks here that are, free checks, so to speak, which means they're not going to have any encounters. Just going to open some free boxes.
14 concussions. We can thank WEF for that modification to the randomizer. And I know that the scoring for this is the combined time between the pairs of the two games.
Yes, so the Final Fantasy runner, so Papa Ducks, when he finishes his seed, the time that he has will be added to Waffle Soup's time, will be their total for the completion, and the same for the other side. And the total time will be determining the winner with the two runners combined.
Mm-hmm.
And my math is terrible because it looks like Papa Ducks has 26 shards, I think. So he only needs 6 more to beat the game. So he needs 2 here on the way to Kraken and a Kraken kill to be able to get into the final dungeon.
There's that gear for WEF. And I believe he hinted the same thing as well. Warp to the wrong spot. There we go. Into Amadeus' laboratory. WEF is in go mode. I assume I can't see the tracker, but that's fine. I'm pretty sure he's in go mode because he's skipping everything. Hi, cat. My little co-host Oreo here with some very important things to say about this.
Gregory Puff working his way up Sky to Palace as well. Going to see if he can open these boxes and find some shards on the way up to Tiamat to get his 4. Next time he does a pause, I'll see if I can get a shard count from him as well.
Lily is correct. I mentioned this offline, but one of my cats, whose name is Laptop, voiced Maeve in Timespinner. And it was actually my parents' cats who voiced the first boss of the game, which is why the runners all call him Boots. Because good old Bootsy, we locked in a room to make him mad so he would meow at a microphone. He is a good boy. Rest in peace, forever immortalized in Timespinner.
19 shards for Gregory Puff. So as soon as Waffle finishes here, he should get a significant amount shot his way as well. WEF, I'm sorry.
They both start with W's and have 2 F's in them. Why do you do this to me, friends? Yeah, for those of you not in the know, the developer Timespinner is my best friend, and he's so cool, and you should go buy his game. I'm totally unbiased. It is the best game ever. And Maeve was originally my character that I developed in a game when Bodhi and I were in a game design course together in college. And he made Timespinner prototype, and I made, it was called Lost Dreams, where Maeve was a little Dream Dragon who had to fight nightmares to wake up. And that's where Nightmare comes from. Bodhi, of course, made him way cooler than what I did. The sprite that I originally made for the game was maybe a fraction of that size and not nearly as epic. And the sprite for Sandman is also from my game, and oh, Wef, that hurts. Wef was rushing.
Did he save?
Please let him.
Did he save after?
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
He didn't do the same thing again. Whew. Yeah, the Sandman, the lion shape that you see first, is originally my design, but then Bodhi put a really cool shader effect over it to make it look even cooler. So he just took everything and made it better. There is a sequel in the works to Timespinner. We don't have a release day yet, but if you like Metroidvanias, pick up the first one. If you already like Timespinner, keep an eye out for the next one coming out. If you like seeing development live streams, then Bodhi does a live stream every other Tuesday over on his channel, Lunar Ray Games, where he does either works on art or mechanics, whatever he needs getting done that week. All right, Wef has defeated the timeline and is going to go punch God in the face.
Papa Duck's pulling Kraken 1 here. Should get his last 4 shards he needs momentarily here. Going to throw out some fast and some temper on this fighter. And Gregory Puff going to do the same thing on Tiamat. Going to be using that Defense Sword as well. Defense Sword gives us free cast of Ruse. Ruse is a double stack of evasion. So once we hit 6 stacks of evasion or 3 casts of Ruse, we are immune to pretty much any physical damage, barring a critical hit.
Awesome. I know the damage system in Final Fantasy 1 is a little weird with like hits and how I don't even remember.
So yeah, some of the bosses they can definitely do some significant damage melee wise as well as either spell or skill wise. So you can't do much to protect against spells or skills aside from maybe have a ribbon. But anytime you can do evasion to avoid getting hit, that's always a good thing.
Oh god, Wef, don't do that. He's down to 9 hit points. I saw he was low and he just jumped into that enemy and he gave me 5 more gray hairs. Okay, sorry to interrupt. What were you saying?
No, that was much more interesting than what I was talking about. I hope he has some heal items.
Well, there's a heal right outside the boss. And,
okay, perfect, okay.
Since he has Shadow Seal, sometimes what the runners will do is something called toe tapping, where they don't actually heal fully. The save spot will heal you to full, but it depends on how long you overlap with the save point. And so if you jump over it and barely touch it, then you don't get healed as much. And if you have Shadow Seal, that just means that you're primed for damage.
Papa Ducks here has his completed amount of shards and is inside the Temple of Fiends Revisited. On to the second of 4 fiends you need to refight here. Carry 2.
Wef's health is low again. Don't do this to me. Okay. He is still low, and he has to go into the second phase, but you do get a heal between the 2 phases. Gonna see some light wall strats here.
We have Kraken 2 up here on Papa Duck's side. Down goes the Thief and down goes the Black Mage. So we have a Red Mage and a Fighter left. We're going to temper up that Fighter.
Oh, Wef. Oh, that hurts. You have to do both phases over again if you die there. Man, they are pretty low level for this. Like I mentioned, 203 is actually a pretty low damage for Meatball.
And 404 damage. He looks like he's swinging a massive there, and down goes Kraken 2. So Tiamat 2 left, and then we have Chaos for Papa Ducks. Don't know if he has any life spells to bring back any of his other party members. We'll see in a second if he does that. He does not. We're just going to keep going.
Just drag their bodies along. We can make it.
It's fine. We'll use them as a shield.
They're napping.
Ooh.
Oop, another person napping.
Okay, so Zap there is a time elemental spell. It will kill you pretty easily if you're not wearing a ribbon, and it looks like we maybe only have one. Oh, Nuke. That's not good either, but we do have a defense sword and power bonk. Lightning 2, and we're going to bonk. Tiamat with Cure 4. Okay, we like seeing that before we start swinging. 3 hits, 202. 5 hits for some damage. 5 hits, 450. That's good. Blizzard, we're down to 51 HP on that fighter. Ice 3, 7 HP left. 7 hits, 338. Down goes Tia 2. 7 HP left on that fighter. Okay.
He's all on his own.
Mm-hmm. We can do this, though. We have a defense sword. We have a power bonk. This is fine.
Yeah, Lily points out the average for Meatball damage on Sandman is around 300. So if that tells you anything about the level that they are. Oh, and there we go. Wef is good to go. All done.
So Wef with a second place in our racetime.gg room of 49 minutes and 1 second. GG's.
GG's. Honestly, with that many deaths, that's not a time to sneeze at.
That's pretty good. Okay, so Papa Duck's going to be power bonking. Looks like we got a punchy Chaos here, so that's a pretty good thing. Test swing, miss. Not great. We're going to swing again. 3 hits, 363. Okay, so we got an evasive Chaos here, but it looks like he's only punching, so that's a good thing. We have another swing. 3 hits, 363. 3 hits, 3... Are we in a crit loop here? Nope, 3 hits, 798. Down goes Chaos. Get your GGs out in chat for Papa Ducks finishing third place on stream with an official racetime.gg time, 49:42.
How about GG with an exclamation point?
Nice. And we have Greggly Puff as well in the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Not too far behind either.
Mm-hmm. Gonna see if Papa Ducks and Waffle want to jump in here for an interview.
All right. They've been sitting around for 10 minutes waiting for us to catch up.
All right, and we are joined in the voice chat here by team member of Duck Soup, Papa Ducks. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
And we have Waffle Soup as well. GG's, Team Duck Soup. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Feeling good.
Y'all gave me so many gray hairs with those deaths, man.
That is the most stressful mob fight I have ever done.
You backed away from him in his desperation. That was so scary.
I was almost certain I was going to die, and I had no healing items.
I saw that moment of hesitation in the item menu, realizing there was nothing there to help you.
Yup.
And still, you got a 37-36 time with all those deaths and all that stress.
Yup.
I'll have you know that Wef also died a bunch. Both of you were taking a lot of risks, and mostly they paid off. And then they sometimes didn't.
Played a little fast and loose, but that's fine.
Greggly Puff getting through his Kraken 2 fight with his Black Mage still up, so that's pretty good. He's going to be able to get some more buff magic here. Going to heal up and go take on Tiamat too.
I don't know much about Final Fantasy Randomizer, but I do know that last moment with Papa Ducks where you only had the fighter was a little stressful.
Yeah, tell us about that 7 HP clutch right there.
Yeah. When he hit me with that nuke, I got a little bit worried. But I was just hoping I could outlast him. I got the one ribbon when Waffle finished. That was the only ribbon I found in the whole seed. So that saved me when he cast that blizzard that brought me down to 7. I was a little more concerned when I got to Chaos solo, and I finished setting up all my defenses and finished power bunking, and then swung and missed.
Yeah.
That was when I clenched a little bit.
I saw that and I was like, oh no. But then you started getting those crits through, and that was a big swing at the end to take down Chaos. So,
yeah,
GG, man. That was a little scary, but it worked.
When it got to like the 10th round and he hadn't done anything but punched, I knew I was pretty sure I had it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I agree.
Grimdall mentions Greg Lee apparently defeated Tiamat before the nuke came out.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky him.
That's the difference of having that black mage that can throw the fast out right there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just down to his fighter as well. Going to be doing some defense and power bonk strats. So defense is finished. We're going to start bonking maybe 2-3 times. 3 times there. 4 times for good measure. And we're going to swing. 4 hits, 816. 4 hits, 875. Wow, Chaos made a paper. 1600 or less HP. Get your GGs out in chat for Gregley Puff. Finishing 4th place on stream with a time of 53:52 GGs. See if Greg and Wef want to jump in, and they're in the broadcast booth, so I'm going to pull them in.
Hey, man.
How you guys doing? Greg and Wef?
Hi. Hello.
Wef, between you and Waffle Soup, you were going to kill me with the stress from you guys kept dying and not saving.
Yeah, I died a lot.
So did Waffle.
Yes. Happened to both of us.
Yeah, I died between Twins and Ilana.
I did too after I bought warp shards and thought I still had them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I actually had to backtrack twice to the portal because I remembered twice in a row that I hadn't used the portal yet. Did you save beneath Merchant Crow?
No. Nope.
You didn't?
Yeah, I forgot about that strat.
Well, because I was back in the castle loop after I died on my way to Ilana. So I was like, well.
There was a lot of redones for that Twins fight.
Yeah, no, I played really, really badly, so...
No, man, that seed, though, you guys still finished with a respectful time, even though you guys took some risks and died a few times. That was a real fun seed.
Yeah, the seed was Jet if I just didn't die. Yeah, it was fun, because I was like, well, I'm going to do some really weird stuff. And then when I hinted, I was like, okay, well, the not weird stuff had the Timespinner pieces.
You was no bad choice.
Mm-hmm.
Did we lose Llama?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Was I cutting out?
You were cutting out a little bit.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, GG's. Yeah, I was on tilt for most of it.
I was so happy with my first Twins fight, and then I had to redo it, and it was not nearly as good.
Yeah, the Twins fight was funny. I'm like, the first time I was like, all right, time to do the Jin Inferno glitch. And I was like, all right, cool. I got handed an item, so I lost my Jin Inferno glitch, but it's okay. I still have enough to do it. And I hit that first Jin Inferno, and I got handed another item again, and I'm like, okay. I guess we're just gonna Pyro Ring strats this.
I guess that's the one downside to AP here. When you're getting an item like that, it can definitely throw off your rhythm, especially for, I hear about this this Jin Inferno glitch, the Meatball Infinite, being able to cast that, and that kind of messes you up when you get it sent an item. It can be a little frustrating, I'm sure.
Yeah, it actually like makes it. I think it cancels out. Like, I don't think you can recover from it, so you have to start it over.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So, Greg, what do you think about that seed? You seem like you didn't have as much trouble as Papa Ducks had there in Temple of Fiends. He had down to a 7 HP fighter against Tia 2 when he threw out a nuke. You didn't see that, so what'd you think about that?
And I saw it in chat afterwards. Like, they were like, "Oh, of course, gets the Tia kill before the nuke comes out."
Mm-hmm.
I was scared about that first hit that smacked my knight with like 300 damage. But I knew that. Well, I mean, at that point, it was just kind of like whatever. It was pretty obvious that we weren't gonna somehow pick up that 11 minutes there. But I was just happy to get through it on one try. And getting all and able to get all the shards that Wef had. Outside of that, I mean, the seed on my end, I mean, went really smooth. I hated clearing all the dungeons I cleared to get no shards, but picking on carry obviously didn't matter because I didn't need the 2 shards that I would have gotten.
Yeah, it was funny. He was like, he hinted for the Mass Moon really, really early, and I was like, "Is it cool if I just give you that when I beat the game?"
oh my God! I gotta mention one more thing too. So I'm clearing Volcano, and I'm gonna head for the floater, and I was like, "Wait, no. Let me check this one last box before I head for the floater." And of course, that's where the floater was, and I don't know. I just got a big chuckle out of that one.
It's funny when that happens. Like, you're going to go hint for an item. You're like, let me just check one more box, and it happens to be in that box. You're like, well, I saved myself a hint there.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some people skip that box, going through there just trying to go fast. So I'm glad that I checked it. I mean, I would have eventually hinted for the floater and then had to go back into Volcano to get it. And I would have been pretty upset about that. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, the only other thing I hinted for was I hinted for the Masamune that he told you about. He just went to beat the game so he could get me the Masamune quick. And then I was going to hint for the defense sword, and I ended up finding that, so I didn't really... Hints weren't necessary this time around.
The magic liquid was pretty kind too. Level 1 temper, level 4 fast, level 1 fade, level 4 nuke. You guys had the sweepers and you had the stuff to finish the game. You had the power bonk, you had the defense sword. You had your kits to do it. It was just some of the things were, just trying to find those items and get going. But it was a really good seed run by both of you guys. You were pretty much flip-flopping. You ran the first, 12 to 15 minutes kind of scripted right there, doing the Marsh Cave, doing your normal checks, and then you kind of went in a little different directions with you going to Volcano first, Greg, and then Papa coming a little bit behind you, and then you were each swapping in Sea Shrine and Sky at different times, and then you flip back and forth. But overall, that was really good to see some 2 quality runners there running some great FFR, so that was nice.
Really nice.
So with that, let's any final thoughts here from the Timespinner players on that seed or the tournament so far? This is round 2 completed. I think we had 5 races tonight, 1 yesterday. So round 2 is now over. We'll be doing the spinning of the wheel, Deadpool style, soon after this is finished here to get our next matchups for week 3. So what do you guys think of the tournament so far?
Yeah, I actually I want some more seeds like my first rounder. It kind of, actually had something in lab and actually had something in Emperor's Tower. I want more seeds like that. I don't like this go mode before you hit the lab. It's not my style.
You want suffering, okay.
No, I like Emperor's Tower. I like Emperor's Tower. I'm like the only person in the community who likes Emperor's Tower.
You required dad seeds, okay.
Yeah, my first round was a required dad seed. So.
I want a required Zarian seed. I like.
I also want a required Zarian seed.
Ooh.
Yes.
How can I make everybody who loves the meatball love the shotgun if you don't give me the opportunity to fight a bunch of optional bosses?
Oof. Zarian though, that's a rough sell.
But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. I'm excited to see the next round, see who we're paired up against. and the tournament's been a lot of fun. I've been having a blast with these flags.
So, Gregory Puff and Papa Ducks, my two Final Fantasy runner friends. What do you guys think of the tournament so far?
Well, I'm loving it. I like the format. When I first got into Archipelago, I was having a blast with it. When I heard about the tournament, I wanted to get in, and I couldn't have got matched up with a better partner. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to kind of piggyback off of what Papa Duck said. I couldn't have been paired up with a better partner as well. I mean, Wes obviously knows what he's doing, plays really well. The flags on Rend are a lot of fun. Pelago is just a good way to play the game, like doing the multi-role between the two games. You wouldn't think Final Fantasy 1 and Timespinner would somehow manage to make a fun tournament, but it has been a lot of fun, and I couldn't have asked for a better partner. I appreciate Final Fantasy Randomizer Twitch for having us do the thing, and Girl for doing the restream, and Luffy, and I'm a Girl for doing the comms. I think the last 10 minutes that I saw looked pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting to watch. I'm still learning Timespinner, so I'm really thankful that Llama Girl was able to join me tonight and kind of, give me a heads up and a crash course on what was going on. Watching two really great runners, Wef and Waffle, just kind of do their work tonight. It was really fun.
I mentioned there's only one other person in the world who knows more about Timespinner than me.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. So with that, I guess we'll toss it around and get any kind of final thoughts that our runners had. We'll start with Team Shiny Rocks. Wef and Greg, any final thoughts before we get on going here?
I'm just looking forward to the next round, just trying to maybe get another restream and show people that I'm better than 49 minutes on a jet seed.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much said my thoughts just then, but I just, I'm excited to see who I'm paired against as well. Yeah, that's all I got. Nothing else.
All right, so Team Duck Soup, Waffle Soup and Papa Ducks are winners tonight. Any final thoughts before we give FFR back their channel and we have Deadpool spin the wheel of let's see who we're playing?
I also just want to see who our next opponent is. I'm excited for that. And let's keep raking in these W's.
I like the sound of that. Yeah, I'll be watching to see who we match up against next round, and looking forward to keep going on.